Hello, Ash. How are you going today?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and energy today. And yeah, I'm super excited to have a chat to you about your Born to Love Life experience and learn about your journey and yeah, what were your takeaways and that. So yeah, just straight off the bat, how was your Born to Love Life experience?
It was really good. I had the feeling it was going to be really good, but it definitely exceeded my expectations even.
Oh, nice. Well, that's really
Yeah.
good. That's it. Yeah. And before you started, before you came into the journey versus where you are right now, what do you feel have been the biggest shifts or takeaways that you feel, you know, sincerity and a general, um, you know, gratitude or depth for?
For me, it's where I was at before was not very good because my world was starting to come crashing down again with regards to relationships and housing and jobs and all the things we're doing the whirlwind, which happens to me a lot. And when all the things come crashing down, it can definitely affect my mental health because it's happened so many times. Um, and so the difference is that it's something that I actually can feel in myself is going to make a difference in my life. And so the main thing is it's helped my mental health in that it's given me hope. And so for me, it's like when I've had COVID, instead of freaking out thinking my autoimmune condition is not going to handle it, I'm going to be wrecked for ages and going into that spiral, I've had the opposite. It's given me something to hold on to, and that I haven't been worried about that at all. I've literally just been like, nope, I've got Gong and I'm going to rebuild my energy. I don't feel like I'm going to be stuck in bad health anymore. And it's given me that strength inside instead of spiraling into negativity.
Wow, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so happy to hear that. And I remember you said something very, amazing and profound to me around finding Gong and finding your flow with that.
Yeah.
Um, would you like to share a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, well, are you referring to like all the different modalities I did try with yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a
Okay.
bit of a
Yeah.
flavor so people can understand. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it was really about when I had previously done yoga and tried other body movement things. It was not at all giving me like that internal feeling of connection. So I know that yoga is meant to be the real form of yoga is meant to be union with God, and that's like our internal God inside of us. And whenever I'd go to a yoga class, I just didn't feel like that was happening. It was either it felt like a very disconnected type form of yoga, or it was too gentle, or it felt too mechanical, like I was just doing an exercise. And so like I didn't have that internal sort of connection, and then sometimes I would leave feeling like that didn't push my body enough, or I've really overdone it. And yeah, it just never had that internal feeling like this is right for me. Same with like, rock climbing or any kind of exercise I would do. I used to run 5 kilometers and stuff, but it would always have times when sometimes I would feel really good. Sometimes my body would be so upset with me for doing it. And I never had that like full confidence going into it of like, should I be doing this? Because I don't even know if my body wants this. And so the difference with Neigong is like the muscle testing is a huge thing for why it works for me, because you never go over or under that same experience I've had with other modalities. Um, and the other really big difference is I'd mentioned to you before how when I was doing one of the exercises, immediately my hand went to like a spot that it needed release, which I didn't even know had pain. So that was incredible. But it happened again in the earth, when I was doing the earth elements. I'm not sure which chakra it was. Oh no, I do know actually. Sorry, it was the tapping one. So I think that's the third eye. It was just this used to happen to me when I was doing massage, where I'd be massaging, doing what I was supposed to do, and then all of a sudden my hands would slip into something completely on its own that obviously that person's body needed. And so the same thing would happen. I was doing the tapping, and then when I finished, my hands just really wanted to slide down and give my neck a massage. And it just like, for me, that's a sign that I'm connected with my body. So that's a sign that I'm having union with myself.
Yeah.
And that's the difference for me of why I believe like the Qigong works, because I'm getting in touch with my inner body. And when I do yoga and all those other things, I don't feel like that's happening.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's really wonderful to be able to find your own flow and sink in with things. And I'm just excited for people to possibly discover if you know, if they've done a modality but they haven't yet found their flow, this could be it. And that's a really nice feeling that I wish everyone in the world, you know, can come
Mm.
to, because it's like one of those things like, oh wow, okay, cool, this is it. Um, yeah, wonderful. Okay, cool. What else have we got on the on the menu? I think we're going to end up probably editing or cutting some of this as well. Um, at the beginning of your journey, Ash, um, what was it that called you into doing Born to Love Life? Like, what was it that enabled you to feel convinced to step into the path and say yes?
That's, that question is just like, yeah, I can't give a very good explanation for it, because for me it's just a knowing. Like I've always been attracted to specifically elements, and I was introduced to I Ching last year, and there's just something internally that speaks to me. So for me, I didn't really come at it from a place of mind. It was just something in my soul that was screaming, "This is what you need to do right now." So as I said, like I only knew a tiny fraction of what actually the course was about, but there was a part of me that was connected internally saying, this is what you need right now. Yeah, so it really wasn't logic.
Okay, great. Yeah, yeah. That's really cool. And looking over your journey in the 4 weeks, what were some of the standout takeaway moments for you that um, you feel has really impacted your journey in that 4 weeks?
um, Really just about being able to feel things in a way that I haven't in trying any other therapy or any other thing. In that it was the first time that I had actually really felt my energy imbalances internally. So for me, that was sort of the biggest thing. Is I've always known I've had, and like I've known from the mind perspective, I have these imbalances, but when I experienced the Neigong, I got to actually feel the imbalances. And that for me, I'm someone who is big about, I think you need experience with something in order to firmly actually um, fall in love with it and keep doing it. And if you're always coming from a mind perspective, you don't keep carrying on with it. You have to experience it. And for me, that's why I do believe that this is such a beautiful pathway, is because most of what we do in Western culture is mind based, and it just doesn't last. It's not sustainable. It's not authentic. But as soon as you come into a practice where you can actually feel it internally, then that's what actually allows you to find your truth and be like, okay, this is the thing, because I'm not just thinking about it, I'm feeling it. And
Yeah.
that's what basically all of the energy work is around. I mean, science and everything says this doesn't work, it's not proven by research, but it does. It's been proven by many practitioners that have had the internal experience. And to me, that is science. That is proof. That's the science of life, which is what Ayurveda is termed. And so there's all these beautiful modalities out there that have had like these bringing you internally and having experiences, and Neigong is one of those modalities.
Yeah, that's wow. That's profound that you're able to feel into your own imbalances and be able to to feel that through the work. I know that that's what the work is designed for, and I'm always just so fascinated when people can in 4 weeks can get like a direct experience and really feel like, oh wow, it was this center, this element, this
Yeah.
movement, or this alchemy, or whatever it may have been. That just warms my heart.
Well, it's because that's the difference is that like when you're sitting in a yoga class, you've got sort of, well, I mean, I guess it's the same with the videos. I'm still following the videos, but I don't know, there's something different about it, and I can't exactly express why. I don't know if it's Fane's delivery of it. I think it's also the simplicity of it. Like when you're learning something new, especially for yoga, it sometimes feels like it's maybe like a bit much in some way. But the thing that works for me is that the movements are a bit slower. Like Fang's delivery is just on point entirely for me in the speed. So the speed and the gentleness that he says it, when I'm doing it, that's what allows me to come into myself. And when I'm not in a class full of other people and stuff, it's just me one on one. So the difference is that's what gives me that true connection internally. And so when he's saying like, the direction of, okay, put your like move your body in this way or hold this, or that explanation, when he's saying that, it's making me go into that area. And so it's the going into that area with that instruction that's like, okay, I'm going into myself, and there's not all these external distractions. And so it's just when, for me, it's just easy to feel because the yeah, just even last night, when you're guiding us through and we're doing the pose and you're like, oh, okay, like focus on bringing your thighs towards the outside, and like just that one tiny little shift, you can feel the difference in the body of how much more anchored that feels compared to when you're not doing that. Whereas like a lot of the yoga and stuff, I feel like those modalities, they don't go to that level of sort of, okay, focus on this part. If they're just taking you through movements. But for me, it's like those tiny little things gets me to focus on those areas. And then I can feel that shift in those tiny little differences. And when for me, like when you get the pose right, like when you do those tiny little movements and then you hold still, I feel like my body almost like locks into this power position. And it's like, yeah, it's not the easiest thing to explain, but when you get the whole thing right, you feel the shift in your body, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's very good, and I think the one of the things I'll just say to those listening is with the Nei Gong means inner work, and so there's a focus of the internal, and it's influenced a lot by the Taoist principle of balance, but also the Taoist principle of soft overcoming hard. So, and also the principle of yin giving birth to yang. So the gentle movements is sometimes different for us in the West who are looking for that, the bang, the outer experience, and we want to drive ourselves to the line and push ourselves, and everything in balance. Sometimes those expressions are the right time, but if they're always doing that, we miss the true essence of connecting in and returning to who we truly are. And so that's the focus of the Neigong movements. And because they're so precise, the exact element and the exact chakra, and then you learn to give exactly what your body needs, as well as you go through a movement transformation to build that strength. That's important, because there's one thing diagnosing what the body imbalance is and giving ourselves that through movement, and then the other thing is building that strength up. So that way you've got that, your mitochondria and your chi is and your shen, your jing qi shen has been restored to give that internal balance. So I just want to speak into the way that we've designed it is it's a unique movement system just for that. And I just want to, just in case those who are listening are wondering, like, is this just a fluke? And it's like, no, we've designed it this way, with a lot of attention, a lot of care, a lot of experience between Fane and I, and and it's a really beautiful integration where the movements are simple, and yet really, but because they're targeted, that's where we do feel like, because someone could have all the fire element balanced as an example, but then their wind element is off, or they might have wind element strong in two centers, but then the water element in the heart is off, and that will influence all of their movements as well. Or the earth element might be imbalanced, and therefore they struggle to have balance, and flow between all the other elements. So yeah, it's really wonderful to have this chat, Ash, and to feel your growth and transformation through it. And I know um, you've just got COVID recently, and I can't imagine in the past you'd be doing an interview. That's my assumption.
Yeah, no, for sure. I felt so. What happened for me is that I really loved the timing of it because there was the night where we did that in meditation practice, and that was about all I could do that night because COVID, I think that was one of my particularly worst days with COVID. And so I just got to lay down, and when we went through the activation, it was really lovely because it just gave me that other, like, that it showed how much it's true that you've got the three pillars and that the three pillars support. It's like the movements are there when you have the strength to build your strength, but when you're really lacking the strength, you still have something. You still have the alchemy. You still have the ability to just lie there and have something to come internal and feel better and rejuvenate. And I think that's really beautiful. And why else I really enjoyed it is, so that night after we went through the activation, it was the only time during COVID where when I went to fall asleep, I was really cold. I had blankets on me, but I almost couldn't fall asleep because I still had that chilled feeling. But I did fall asleep, and then in the middle of the night, I woke up crazy hot and had to throw the blankets off. But then I woke up in the morning and my temperature and everything was perfectly fine. And aside, like all of the days I've had COVID, that was the only time that I had the temperature shifts, and I felt like it was probably from doing the activation, just like I feel like it kind of just brought my chi up to just kind of power it all out, and then it got that final kick, and then it was fine in the morning because it did what it had to do overnight, kind of thing.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Speaking of the alchemy, did you have any experiences that were like that you can recall off the top of your mind that really supported? Just to give people an idea of like, oh, it's just not movement as well.
Well, one of my biggest, like, it's such a tiny thing, but one of my most profound experiences was actually the mini meditation that we did on the call last night, where all we did was, the holding the hand on the heart and the hand on the womb. And I've held my heart many, many, many times for plenty of different things. But for some reason, when we were doing that last night, I didn't have feelings coming through, but I had a tear that ran down my cheek. So there was something that released at a deep level that I couldn't feel. It was in my body. And that really gave me that, wow, this is so cool. Like, it's unlocking things that I'm holding on to that I'm completely unaware of, because I was not having an emotion that was grieving or anything that made sense to be crying, but the body was just letting something go.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. I also know that what I'm experiencing with everyone going through in the 4 weeks, it's enough to build a taste of a bit of a foundation in the body, and that self-regulating of the balancing of the eight elements through the seven chakras. And then when we go to the heart's the emotional regulator. And so all of those soft little touching points that we've been building to, we end up doing something so soft and simple, and then all of a sudden, boom, we can have like a nice little experience. And I think one thing that I'm proud about as Medallia, because I've done a lot of intense work, I'm proud of the power that comes from the soft and gentle. And that's a reflection of a lot of the different teachers that I've had as well, not just my own sort of creativity, but that's what I'm really happy about, because it just allows the nervous system to gently come on board with transformation and change. and it allows the ego to even not necessarily even be active, speaking to the part of ego when change emerges and it's like, no, I don't want to do this, or you know what I mean, or you know, the breakthrough is about to happen, but because it feels like we don't have enough strength or energy or nourishment to actually move through it, there's a part of us that sort of just self-ejects and self-protects in honesty. And through soft strength building and releasing and the alignment, um, actually what happens is the ego is not activated because it doesn't, it's usually activated because of survival or fear or trade and exchange or something like that. So it actually allows the part of the soul to move through the ego and feel that strength in the body to allow gentle change to manifest. So um, yeah, I just felt called to just speak into that, the beauty of that, because to have transformation, to have soft overcoming hard, to go gentle and allow results and outcomes to happen, it's kind of for the West, it's almost like, how does that, is that even possible? You know, like can can that even take place? Um, and again, it's not because of even like an inspired psychology or a philosophy or a mindset or like all of those things can be really beautiful in the right time, in the right place. But if the body is balanced, it naturally flow just naturally happens. And so there's an internal alchemy process of Jing Qi Shen that generates the Wu Wei state that allows us to, which is that effortless action, where the struggle and the noise of that, we're not down in the imbalances of it. We're not disconnected from our feelings, but we're actually able to be in a natural state of flow. That isn't something that we are taking a substance for,
Yeah.
or feeling like we have to do some sort of strong yang activity to get into. And not that, and we can still do a yang activity, but our baseline is much higher. So that's something that the experience of Neigong and the alchemy really is, and the divination when people get into it as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I'm
anything
gonna
else?
comment. I'm gonna comment on the because
Yeah.
you inspired another thought when you said about the flow. So one of the things that I'm the hardest on myself for, because it matters so much to me and I feel like it makes life so much easier, is just feeling like I'm not having the right food cravings and not being able to cook in a way that feels flowing. Like I want to, but whenever I cook, it often feels disjointed and it feels like a chore rather than enjoyable. But since the like doing the Neigong, it's even helped with that. It's given me that flow. So during COVID, I've still been I ordered one of those food boxes and I've still been managing to get up, make sure that I'm making the food, but then just I've been enjoying it more and I've been having more flow with it rather than it feeling like this burden or this chore, because I've got that cheese starting to build up. And yeah, and just it's a simple thing, but it's very exciting because it's just something I've wanted for such a long time. And I keep feeling that the more I do the exercises, I do feel that I'm in flow feeling that you're talking about. And yeah, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, that's so. Oh, that fills my heart full of joy, and you know, I can also feel um, so parts of an older version of myself and parts of just communities I've been into as well, where trying to address the problem with our head, and you know, we say if you're in your head, you're dead, and but the ability to allow the chi to build and the balancing and the strengthening to happen in the physical body and to get those reference points literally allows consciousness to flow and our energy systems to flow and our life force energy to flow. And then like it's like we can just take the pressure off and just allow that flow to happen and give us a different reference point for life. And then you know the head can soften and
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Like
really
I have friends that cook so easy and they're so good at it and they find it so easy. And it's something you have to do every day. And even just the thinking about what to eat and then getting the groceries and then trying to make it, it's just one of the biggest stresses in my life. It should be something that's like natural and simple because you do it every day. But people that have that natural, simple way with it, they don't even understand how lucky, like, well, I don't know if lucky is the right word, but how like grateful that they should be that they are that way. Because when you don't have that, it's just you feel it every day and it's like, man, why does every day have to feel like it's this chore? You
Yeah.
know, I just don't want that feeling anymore. I don't want that feeling like life is a chore. I'm so over it and ready to just have the flow.
Good. Well, I'm glad there's some improvement there, Ash. That's yeah, that's really, really wonderful. Cool. So for people who are like sitting on the fence, wondering about Born to Love Life,
Mm.
what would your inspiration or recommendation be for someone who's thinking about joining Born to Love Life? What would you say to them?
I would say that if you're tired of the Western ways of everything being very forceful and very fast and a lot of pressure, then and you want to try something that's just more connected and feels a lot more balanced and get more balance in your life, then this is the modality to do that. Because one of my absolute favorite things about doing the exercises every day is sometimes those group exercises feel a little bit challenging depending what element you're in, but it's the fact that you're only doing it for a couple minutes. And so when you're doing those couple minutes, you can say, I got this, because I'm just doing it for a couple minutes. And then when you go to the next one, the next exercise, it might be a little bit challenging, or maybe it's not as challenging. But I find that when you work up the exercises, they actually get easier instead of harder. And I feel like Western culture, a lot of exercises and things that people do is the opposite. It's go harder, 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 push, push, push. And my favorite thing about the Gong is that it's not like that. It's not at all. It's more about, okay, we're gonna start with building your strength, and then it's gonna get a little bit easier instead of harder. And that's if that's what people are looking for, that's what you're gonna get, is what I find.
Amazing. And did you have a favorite element that you enjoyed or a favorite
Oh my God.
lecture?
No, because honestly, like it was so funny how like I could say that I probably have a least favorite, which was the first couple of elements in the root for me. Just because I found some of the root ones really challenging, but then um by like the third or fourth element, some of those root ones, my favorites are the ones where the root element is not so hard. So like I really liked the earth one. I really love doing those bridge poses. Those are probably one of my favorite activities because it feels stable but not so intense stable. Um, but I kept finding that so many of the elements, I was like, well, I don't want to leave this element. I really love the movements. And then you get to the next one, you're like, wait, but I really love these too. And then I'm like, I don't want to leave this one. And then you get to the next one, you're like, oh, but I really love this one. And then so no, I mean, I probably have 3 or 4 favorites to be honest.
Yeah. And what was your favorite part or takeaway of the course, Born to Love Life? Was there what are some of your favorite moments or favorite things about the journey, like overall, when you feel into the fullness of everything that's taken place?
Just the feeling of it feels complete and it feels like exactly what we need in our time right now. You know, it just feels like it's balanced, and that's something that I've never had in my life. And so to finally feel like I have this thing that's going to really give me balance in my life is that's pretty profound for me. I mean, I'm going to be 38 this year. That's a lot of years of chaos, and so yeah, my favorite thing is just feeling like, okay, I'm actually finding that now.
Great, yeah. And just a couple more. Do you feel like these are tools that you can continue to use and continue to apply moving forward in your life now, or do you?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, the hardest thing is when you do something new like this, the mind and the ego want to freak out until you don't do it. So it's just a matter of having the community still, having the community, carrying on with repeating the classes, going over the videos, because it's going to take like that reprogramming the mind. But once you get to that point of doing it over and over, then it becomes easier and easier and easier. Yeah, but I think that's one of the kind of nice things about going through the process and having it being difficult in the beginning is that if it wasn't difficult in the beginning and it was just easy, you wouldn't come to weeks later and go, wow, look at how much I've changed, or look at how I got through that challenge, or look at how I pushed through my mind. So it kind of sucks at first when you have to, like, use your force to be like, I got to do this thing. But I'm really looking forward to just seeing where I'm at 6 months from now and where I'm at 12 months from now. And that's kind of probably one of the most exciting things, is anticipating, oh my God, what's the change going to be? And like wondering what it is and wondering how you're going to feel. And like, just looking for, like, okay, there's going to be a new version of me. And what is that going to look like?
Amazing. Yeah, fantastic. For the people that are have never done an online course before, what would you say to them about your experience? To some people who may never have maybe jumped on Zoom before or learned from Zoom, or um, what would you tell them in terms of like that, about receiving the transmission and learning, and or maybe there's something there that you might want to inspire or let them know about that experience, because some people they've never actually learned online before.
For me, the online learning is really quite beneficial. You would think that it would be less beneficial to do a modality like this online because it's not in person and you're not feeling the energy. But actually, I found it's the opposite, because it's something where you're going internal. And so you can put yourself in a quiet room, and or you can put headphones on, and then you're actually fully immersed in what's happening between you and the people on the other side of the screen. So you have the opportunity to shut down all the distractions, and that's actually more beneficial, I find, for myself, as well as when you're learning something in person. It's not being recorded. You get that one time where you have all this information, and if you miss something, you've missed it. So for me, I much prefer the online, because I like to go back and listen to it and take notes, and it gives me comfort to know that at any time I can be like, oh, what was that thing that was mentioned? And then I can just go and hit the play button, and I can pick it up. So I think the online learning is actually really good for this particular course.
Yeah, amazing. And any final thoughts that you would love to share with the audience? And if you could give us, if you could tap into your heart and soul and give us what you feel your wisdom is around living the life that you're born to love and lead.
Hmm. My final words? Oh dear. Do I ever have final words? um, it's a good question. Um, I think it's just really, if you want to stop looking for external sources to try to control your life, the Neigong is what really does it for me. So when I don't have control over situations, and I feel really frantic, I've actually used the Neigong in times where I've been really distressed, and that has helped me feel like I have control. I may not have control over that particular situation that's happening, but it brings me back to that sense of, it's okay if I don't have control. I have at least control of what's going on in here, and I'm going to make peace with everything else that's going on out there. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. That's really, really lovely.
Yeah,
Well,
that's actually what happened to me the other day. I mean, things change like that, but I was spiraling in a really dark place because I had really, like, it was during COVID, and I had a thing happen with property that we were looking at the same time. I got into a fight with my ex-partner, and like, all of it was building up, and I was really spiraling. And then I was like, nope, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna do the earth element movements. And I did. And then I actually, I hadn't gotten to a fight with my ex yet. It was the property stuff that was like accumulating, and I had no control over the situation because I was in lockdown. And after I did the earth element, it really helped I went straight to the kitchen. I put on some music. I started cooking. I felt like way better instead of spiraling. And but then I got into a fight with my ex-partner and it all went spiraling again. But that being said, I didn't spiral nearly as far down as what I normally do. So even though it went up and down and up, after I had gotten into this fight with him, which I mean, I'm still it was a fight, but I'm still proud of the fact that in the fight, it didn't get like extreme for me, but I expressed what I needed to express. And then I went and I actually did artwork, which sometimes I don't feel like doing, but I did, and I did my artwork, and then I ended up still having a really good sleep. And I feel like if I didn't do the movements and I didn't say, nope, go and do what you know you need to do, I don't think that I would have cooked, and I don't think that I would have done my art, and I don't think I would have had a good sleep. It just the spiral just would have kept going down.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, well, as we build up that Jing Qi Shen, it just for me, you just met the need of your soul in a moment of crisis, and we're able to look at the balance and the opportunity to recalibrate and get strong. And it's not like that all of a sudden we don't have any challenges on the outside. We always do, but if we're able to have enough strength, inner strength, not like strength like I have to be strong, but inner strength, then we can actually meet the needs of our Shen, our soul, in turn our soul, and then we can be on the side of opportunity when crisis naturally emerges. So that's one of the cool things about the work that we're sharing is, and it's in those little moments you can see through like the lens of cognitive behavioral therapy, like you're able to take a positive action that then reinforces another positive action. And even if there are a few negative things in there, you've just actually changed your life because there's been more of a positive flow and you felt inspired to do that. And rather than not having the inner strength and the challenge comes and then we just go, and so you were able to spiral and up and stay as strong.
But the difference for me of why the Neigong is really valuable and important is because I've had many other tools for when I'm spiraling, but I've never been able to really utilize them in those moments. They've always felt like, oh, that's too much. I can't do it right now. Or just no, I just felt like, I guess, disconnected from them. This is the first time when I've been in those spiraling moments where I actually feel like I want to do the exercises or use the alchemy, because it doesn't feel like too much. It's like my mind feels like with the movements, it's the perfect amount for me that when I'm in the spiral, I'm not like, oh no, that's too much. I'm like, no, no, no. You know that this is something that you can handle. You know it's only going to take you like 20 minutes. And that's the difference with the Neigong, is that it never feels like too much. And that for me is what I need personally, because my mind, it can get very dark and it can get very heavy. And it will convince me not to do the things that I should do, saying it's too hard. And it doesn't, no, my mind doesn't do that with the Neigong. It's like, you got this, you know, it's only 20 minutes, you know how good you can feel after. And that's where the difference is.
Wow, that's amazing, Ash. Yeah, that's like so good. And just to add some more words of encouragement and inspiration, every time you're doing that, you're strengthening and balancing. So it's like you know what I mean? It's putting an investment inside that'll make the moments of the future more balanced, connected, upright, and in flow. And so, but massive work, because I know it's really challenging and difficult in those moments to sometimes to go, okay, what do I need to do? But I'm so really, it's so nice to feel and hear that, and it's so true. It's like in 20 minutes, that's all it takes. And because the body develops an association of positivity with it, with the ease of the movements, they're not really challenging and they're all gentle and working with the breath, and yet they're strengthening and postural corrective as well. And so then all of a sudden we get this positive reinforcement, and the body starts to learn, hang on a minute, yep, even though it's dark inside here, that's good. So let's do that. So yeah, I think that was a really profound share.
but it's genuinely how I feel. Like that's why I really want to do the practitioner training, because I think it can really help a lot of people. It's not until last year that I really, speaking to a psychiatrist, I didn't know how bad my depression had gotten, and I didn't really realize I've actually had it for many, 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 many years, but it's always become my norm, so I wasn't really aware of it. So now that I'm aware of it and I'm watching my mind and my heaviness a bit more, I've been able to reflect so much on looking at all those things. And so for me, it's just noticeable for me. I'm like, there's a very heightened level of awareness for me in especially the last few months. And so for me, I can feel it and see, like, I can feel that so much stronger of seeing, like, watching what my mind is doing. And yeah, such a massive deal to me to have something that doesn't feel overwhelming, because I've had 10 years of illness and fatigue of like every feeling like too much, a chore, this, that. And so like there's a lot of people that are going through what I'm going through. There's a lot of people with autoimmune, a lot of people with fatigue, a lot of people with depression. Everyone back home that I talk to has depression. I've carried it with me from my home, and I've been trying for years to change because I don't want to be depressed anymore. I don't want to not love life. And so yeah, to for me it's just so heightened. The awareness is so heightened that this is the thing that works for me, because of all the things that haven't, and for dealing with this for so long.
Wow. Wow.
But my soul does speak to me. I mean, like the fact that like it's done that to me with the shadow work stuff I told you about, if that's what we were doing, or ego work, I guess I could say. There was a really big soul push there in the beginning saying this is right for you. And I still believe it is. I just believe that I have to put it on pause and wait for the right time to go back to it and only bring in the things that work for me. So I left it, but I didn't leave it, not having taken stuff with me and knowing there's still truth in there for me. But yeah, out of all the things I've done in my life, that modality and this modality are the two strongest, where my soul is screaming at me saying yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. I'm so glad that you found what's working for you, and yeah, and you're able to apply it and get good results and experience from it, because that's what we love to hear and what we love to see, and yeah, what we love to be about as well. Yeah, so just to finish, from the water of your heart, like from the essence of your heart, what are you looking forward to now with your Born to Love Life journey?
Sharing it with others, like I haven't stopped talking to people about it. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this thing and it's so great. And I just have friends that when I haven't seen them for a while and I've been seeing them, they're like, yeah, I can see that there's a real change in you. And my housemate is getting all excited. He's like, I want you to teach me it, because he's just seeing that when I'm going through my darkness, he's seeing that I'm picking myself back up. He's seeing the changes in my cooking, and he's seeing the shifts as well, and so are my other friends. And so I'm inspiring them already. Like I've got at least 3 people that want to try it out, because they're just seeing that I'm happier and lighter and I'm handling things better. So
Yes. How
yeah,
good is that? Amazing. So fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Ash. It's been a really wonderful chat. Yeah, to get to know and learn more about your journey, and I'm so glad that you're triumphing and feeling more balanced, connected, upright, and flow. It's yeah, really, really wonderful to yeah, to share the time with you, and I'm inspired by your progress and your story. So yeah, keep it up, and we'll see you soon.
sounds good.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.